Okie dokie. So today, I guess I'm supposed to talk about regular expressions, because that's what I learned this month. Regular expressions are a symbolic language. Each symbol in the language that's recognized by the language has a meaning, right? So it can be a literal meaning, or it can have a different type of meaning that matches different things. The way you read a regular expression is from left to right. You have to look at each individual character. It's actually literally just matching on each character one at a time. So let's just look at an example. Let's see if we can find an example. Let's just build one. So if we go, let's say I've got a postal code, right? And the postal code is in the format of like, I don't know, a letter, a number, another letter, some number, another letter, some number, whoops, and that's your postal code, right? So if I wanted to match this postal code, I could say, let's build a regex that would match it, right? So if my regex was, regular expressions usually start with a forward slash, right? Just to indicate that it's a forward slash. In this case, I'm writing Ruby, and Ruby recognizes regular expressions as a first class primitive. So I can say my regular expression is going to match S8I2K3, right? This is going to match that postal code. So if I were to go postal code dot match, and let's give it the regex, and let's just have a little mapping here to run this Ruby script. Oops, let's go. That works. Okay, good. So right now you can't see anything. Let's just put that to. Puts that. There we go. So that's where we're matching. Right now we're matching S8I2K3, right? That's pretty good. So we've written our first regular expression. You can see if we look at the regular expression, we read it from left to right, right? So the first character, the first thing it's going to look for is like if it's an S, right? The first character has to be an S, right? Then the next character has to be an 8. Then it has to be an I, then a space, then a 2, then a K, then a 3, right? So that's matching this particular postal code. But what if I had another postal code like, I don't know, A9, whoops, I don't know, what's another letter? Do you know any other one? Z, is that a letter? That's a letter. K for F, let's just say 4, right? That's my new postal code, right? So that's our old postal code, here's my new postal code. Is this gonna match anymore? Is the first character an S? No, I don't think so. Let's take a look here. No, we got nothing, just blank output, blank. So how do we write this in a way that we can actually match any type of postal code? Well, let's say we know that the first character can be any letter, right? It can be any letter. So let's say, let's put this in a range, right? We'll say it can be any letter between A to Z, right? So this is the range specifier, right? So we can say it's it specifies a range of characters that can match. Right? In this case, I'm saying any uppercase letter between A to Z. We could also say, let's just A to F, right? So anything between A to F, anything after that doesn't count. In this case, I'm going to say A to Z, right? So A to Z. So the first character can be between anything between A to Z. The next character can be any digit, right? Between 0 and 9. So let's just replace that with another range, right? We'll go 0 through 9, right? So now it matches any uppercase letter, A to Z, and then 0 through 9. And then the next character can be, again, another A to Z. So let's go A to Z again, right? And let's just test this regex. Let's see what happens so far. We're not matching anything yet. No, not yet. The next character is going to be a space, right? So I'm just going to leave this as a literal space. So far we've got any character between A to Z, any digit between 0 and 9, then any character between A to Z, space, and let's go with another 0 through 9 again. Then any characters between A to Z again, and then 0 through 9 again, right? And let's see if this will match, right? Whoops, that's what I wanted to do. Whoops, let's just add that mapping back. I'm going to go Ruby percent. There we go, we're matching. We're now matching on this regular expression. Which is good, right? This is not bad, but what happens if I had like a lowercase z? Right, now I gotta go, what am I gonna do now? What if I have a hyphen instead of a space? Okay, well let's just start with the first example. So if we were to go with the z, we could say, okay, well now we know that that character can be anything between a to z or a to z lowercase, right? So let's run that again. And we're matching. That one matches too. That's cool. That's cool. What about lowercase a up here? We go a to z. That's cool. Let's run that again. And that matches. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, cool. So we've got any uppercase letter. What about, well, I don't want a space in this case. That shouldn't match, right? So I may or may not have a space, right? So if I wanted to say that the space is optional, I could include a question mark, right? So what the question mark is saying is like the character before it is optional, right? So I can have, I can have 0 or 1 match, right? Repeats 0 or 1 times, right? So it's like it's optional. Whoops. It's optional, right? I can also say an asterisk instead of a question mark, and then that would just mean 0 or more. In this case, I don't want more because it can only be 1, right? Because if I had more than 1 space, if I had 2 spaces, well, I'm not sure I really want to accept that, right? It's 1 space or no space. That's all. Whoops. 1 or nothing, right? I could also say plus sign, which would be 1 or more, right? So you got to have at least 1 or more. In this case, I don't need a plus sign. I don't really want the plus sign. Yeah, I don't want the plus sign because I don't want to force it to be a space. I want to say that the space is optional. So I'm going to go with the question mark for now, right? So let's give this a shot. Let's see if that matches. Whoops, just write that. We run that. And we're matching again. Okay, sweet. So the same thing can happen down here. Well, we could also have hyphen, right? So it could be either a space or a hyphen, and that should match. And is this going to match? Right now, nope, no matching. So now we can say, well, this can be either a space or it can be a hyphen, right? Now we're accepting one of those two characters, right? It can be either a space right there or a hyphen. So let's rerun that. Cool, and that matches as well, right? Not bad, not bad. Now this can also be an uppercase or lowercase f, and that should just match as well. We run that, it's not matching, so let's go say a to z or a to z, right? And let's rerun that. And we're passing, we're matching again. Sweet. Well, there's a bunch of other symbols. Can't think of a good example right now to go through them, but let's just quickly talk about them. We could talk about a range specifier where, whoops, let's just uncomment this. We could go a range specifier where we're actually negating everything that's in the range. So if I were to write something like question A, E, I, O, U, this would basically say everything that's not a vowel, right? So vowels are not accepted, right? Everything, this is negating everything in the range, right? Or I could say A, let's go A to Z, so not a character between A to Z. That's one way to say it. There's also the repeat, right? So we could say it must repeat 3 times, right? So must repeat this many times. Oops, this many times. So if I were to say that, let's say I had, if I had that at the end, let's say if I were to put a repeat of 2, that would say that at the very end I had to have at least 2 digits at the end, right? So this won't match right now. Let's just comment this out. I'll rerun this. It's not going to match. You can see because I don't have 2 digits on the end. But if I were to go add, so what am I doing here? If I were to go add another digit on the end, then that should match because now I have 2 digits at the end there. So let's just rerun that. Cool. That's matching again. There's also a group friends hat, right? So this is the start of the line. And then there's $, which is end of the line. And in this regular expression, let's just say it should be start of the line, right? And at the end of the line, and let's just fix this. We don't want the range specifier anymore. So let's just get back to that. Let's say it's matched that. See if that matches, and it does. Okay, so we're saying that the very start of the line has to start with a letter, very end has to end with a digit, right? This is optional. And we've got a very basic reg expression for matching postal codes. Before I go, so I should probably tell you about some other ones that are pretty useful. /W for any word character, right? /S for any space, or any white space character, right? Oops. White space, white space. And then there's like what is it? We're D for digit, so any digits. Instead of /0, we could actually say whoops. Let's go back to here. Instead of a range, we can just say be any digit. Let's get rid of that, right? And this should match now. Let's go Ruby regex. And we're good. That matches. Cool. Let's go back into here. We could also replace the other range here with a digit. So we could say /D. Same here. I think that's all the digits in our pattern here. And let's just rerun that. Go Ruby regex. Cool. Looking good. Yeah, and there's other things like the boundaries. Each regular expression engine is going to have certain symbols or things that it matches. But for the very basics, I think this is pretty good common ground for understanding how to get started with regular expressions. And that's it for today. See ya.